Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM20 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's season 11, episode 2, and today, after a pretty flawless start with Borussia Monchengladbach, we face top of the table champions Bayern Munich in a hope of going top of the Bundesliga. It's been a brilliant start, we're yet to lose a game, the transfer window finished without any real big incidents, and everything's looking pretty good at the moment, despite a couple of little knocks and suspensions. So although this game may be a difficult one, we certainly feel like we're vindicated in moving here. Of course, we've by no means had the hardest start in the world. In fact, we've probably not even had a hard start, really. We've played one of the lower end of the top 6, and then aside from that, it's been all mid-table and bottom half sides, including a couple of those who got promoted last year. So we've not yet been tested at the top level like we will be today, like we will be in a couple of weeks by Hamburg, and then a few others coming up in November and December as well. And I'm sure we may well fall away after this flying start. But either way, we can enjoy this moment because we are joint top of the Bundesliga with today's opponents. But before we go and get into today's game, if you have missed any of the action at Borussia Monchengladbach so far, and you don't know what we're doing here in Gladbach to start with, then do go and catch up with the last 2 episodes where we joined the club, met the players, and then last time out where we made our Bundesliga debut. We had transfer action in that one as well, and we'll continue with the end of the window today, though it's not quite as eventful as we possibly hoped for. We had one player potentially coming in from Bayern which fell through at the last minute. And aside from that, there's not been a great deal in the first team. But firstly, if you are looking forward to this episode, please do put a thumbs up on the video and subscribe to the channel for all of the regular content here. If you were here earlier today as my live stream series started at 10 o'clock, thank you so much for coming along. I do appreciate it and I'm really looking forward to more of them. We'll be continuing that live series every Tuesday morning at 10 AM, so just pop along and say hello if you can. It really does make such a difference and it's great to get to know you all a bit better. But thank you again for your incredible support both on this channel and over on our podcast as well, which is going absolutely insane the last couple of weeks. But today is all about Gladbach and a massive tie in the Bundesliga. But before that, let's go to transfer news. We've got loads more sell-on clauses available, but the Director of Football has done nothing with them yet. So let's go to our transfer history to look at the end of the window. In terms of ins, there was just the 2, outs just the 3. So let's go through the outs first. Nuno Felix the first, a Portuguese 25-year-old centre-half who's gone on loan to second-tier Union Berlin. We're playing them in the cup actually in a couple of weeks, but he'll be injured anyway. A decent centre-half, but was never good enough for us. And as a result, the Director of Football loaned him out. Then the next one maybe not so sure about. Dirk Dauth is a young striker. He's a 16-year-old, I think. And he's gone to Leipzig for 6 million. Now, it's not bad money for a player, and to be honest, he's a striker who can't finish. But he did look like he had supreme talent to be able to play in the 2 wide areas, particularly cutting in off that right-hand side where he can dribble, he's got the long shot, he's got the technique, and he's got plenty of pace and agility as well. But it hasn't really worked out, and he's gone to Leipzig. So I'm a little bit perplexed by that one. I'm not sure if it's the right move, and it's one of those few questionable bits of activity from our new Director of Football. But we're not going to get bogged down just yet, as it doesn't affect us in our spell here, and realistically in 5 years we'll probably have moved on. Heiner Inktven is the last man who went out. He went to Heidenheim and he's playing there regularly. 675,000 to the second Bundesliga. He's a defensive midfielder which didn't really fit in our tactic, although it may have been nice to have a player like him to be able to come off the bench where we want to shore out a game when we're a goal up. But otherwise, I can see why he was sold. He wasn't really going to ever make it here, and after 7 appearances for our first team, he'll probably be resigned to the second tier forever now. So a slight disappointment perhaps with the youngster, but certainly understandable, and no massive losses there. None of the first teamers go in, we've kept our squad intact, albeit it's a little bit small. And the reason for that is we haven't really replaced people. We have got in a new backup left back. It's the man who was penned in last episode. That man is Mauro Gelli from Atalanta. It's 10.5 million in total. He's worth slightly more than that at 25. Just 2.5 star ability, 2.5 potential. Made 4 appearances due to injury to our other left back from City. And he's already got 2 assists and played well. He's training okay. He's gradually improving. And he's just a good squad player. What can I say? Decent wage, decent value. And we didn't pay through the roof for him. So I've no problem with that whatsoever. And I'm happy to have him here for as long as we are as our backup left back. And then finally on deadline day, one big deal did fall through. We'll go and have a look at that player in a minute. But we also got Daniel Billing from Wolfsburg. And he's a 15-year-old for 375,000 up front. Big potential, 4-star, 1-star ability at the moment. He's a number 10 and he's got all the key attributes and a good personality. I'm a bit worried about this fitness here, and I'm worried about some of the other technical attributes filling in. But he's got all the key ones, and he's certainly a player worth gambling on, and for under £1 million in total fees, it could be a massive bargain. So certainly not any massive sparks at the end of the transfer window. We're perhaps one or two light in terms of the squad as one big deal fell through, but some of the stars and some of the signings that we weren't sure about have become absolutely pivotal in our success this season. So we do need to thank the director of football for that, but let me quickly show you the one that got away. So here he is, 18-year-old Vladimir Jovanovic. We bid about 10 million for him, I think the director of football did, but he rejected us over wages. The first offer was rejected, it was negotiated, then he rejected us. He's a wonder kid at 18, a holding midfielder, a centre midfielder and a centre half, and he looks very good in all three. And I think we're probably going to regret not getting him, because he is going to be world class. He's the sort of player potentially in 3 years we could have been changing our tactic to fit around, but to be honest, he could have become one of those ball-playing centre-halves, the Guardiola type, and there would have been no doubts he was ready for it. He's already playing German under-21 football, he played a cup game for Bayern, and he looks a superstar. He's still wanted. Who's that by? Hertha Berlin want to sign him. So if we lose out and then Hertha a mid-table side get him, we will be upset. But that's the one that got away, and we've got to be honest, we're a little bit upset about it. A bit like the guy who went on transfer deadline day. Wouldn't have been first team straight away, but certainly would have come off the bench when we're a goal up and we just need someone to sit in front of the back four. He would have got plenty of game time. But as it is, despite his good scout rating, despite them wanting him desperately, they were unable to get the deal over the line, and we have to make sure we make do without him. So he will be available for our visitors today, and that team is Bayern Munich. But everything as we've seen is looking very good. If we look at the dynamics, the dressing room atmosphere and managerial support both now very strong, and the team cohesion's good too, and that's been helped by a string of good results. So you were last with me as we played against Hanover in our first Bundesliga game, a 2-0 victory on that occasion, and you can see where we've built our success, an incredibly solid defence. We made a couple of changes at about 4 or 5-0 against Freiburg, the only game we've conceded more than one. But aside from that, we've only conceded in one other match, and that was against the top 6 side in Schalke. So following that Hanover game, and of course the cup win before it, we played Werder Bremen away from home and got a brilliant 3-0 win. Kennedy Abeng again with a very early goal. Nicholas Stark missed a penalty. He's our centre half and our best penalty taker with a rating of 10. Seems like Dorking Wanderers all over again. But Ed Seekins turned up with 2 goals, and that was crucial for us. He's a player who we weren't sure about. We didn't know if he was going to score the goals we needed. He just had that blotch on the finishing attribute. But in his second game, he got off the mark, and that's a great sign for us moving forward. And you'll see just how important that's been since. Against Augsburg on the 1st of September before the international break, Kennedy Abeng popped up with a great goal to win the game before the 6-2 demolition of Freiburg. And Ed Seekins got 4 of them. Phil Halmson scored a screamer yet again, and Castrati got one cutting in off the left. And to be honest, late on, we just let our guard slip. We let in a second goal, but a 6-2 win, certainly nothing to complain about. Then away to Stuttgart, we won 1-0. Oliveira scored that goal before getting sent off for a horror tackle. He was banned for 1 game initially and then a further 2 by the Board of Control. And that means he is out of today's game and will not be back until Hertha Berlin next week. But we did hold on with the 10 men and then got a point at home to Schalke. Our only drop points at this club so far. Phil Mawson saved the day with another brilliant goal. I mean, we've got him working on that trait to get rid of the looking to pass, because every time he shoots outside the box, it seems to go very near the target or in the goal. We did concede an early one in that one, but we came back well. And the Icelandic, despite being unhappy still, is continuing to be a crucial player for us. He wanted to leave because we haven't got continental football, but it looks certain we're going to finish in the top 6 this year. 3 goals already for him in 7. Against Cologne, it was Ed Seekins who popped up with a winner. He's got 7 in 7 now, and he's improving very, very quickly. Him and Abeng, the best trainers, almost every single week. And it looks like we've got 2 world-class players up there. So into today's game, I'm fairly confident we'll do okay. I'm not sure we'll get a result because Bayern are a very good side. But either way, the lowest we're going to be at the end of today is in 2nd place. Hamburg can't catch us this weekend, and if we lose, we can't go behind Dortmund or Leipzig, who are both expected to finish well above us this season. So we've certainly got a lot to be proud of so far. I'm not quite sure we're ready to repeat that title success of 2 years ago yet, particularly with Bayern as strong as they are. But we're definitely going to give them a run for their money today, and over the season, I feel like we're going to be in this batch, the top 7, and we've just got to make sure we don't finish bottom of it. So let's go and get into it and have a look at the lineups. Bayern slight favourites as we predict. They've got the far better head-to-head record and just about the better form. And they've got Sampaoli in charge, a very good manager. We've got our left back injured. We've got our number 10 out suspended. But aside from that, we're at full strength. Castrati's got a slight knock, so I'm going to bring in Fernandes for him, just because he's not quite 90% fit. We're after an international break, of course. Castrati will have definitely played 90 for Albania. He's always going to be a superstar for them. Vilhelmsen, again for Iceland, will have played, but he is match fit. And this is the benefit we have this year, and it is the only year we're going to have it to make the most of. We haven't got European football, and that's actually benefited us because we're now playing 1 week at a time. So we've got no midweek games to worry about. We've not got to think, oh, we've got Europa League Thursday, then the next game to Sunday. I know we would have probably played 16, 17-year-olds if we were in the second Europa League, but for now, we're very excited with where we are. So the lineup in full today is Maximiano in goal, of course not conceding many at all this year. Jelly in at left back and Pereira on the right, with Kawakita and Stark the centre halves. Vilhelmsen and Jimenez the two central midfielders, with a Beng, Fernandes in on the left and Amiri the number 10, with Ed Seekins up front in brilliant goal scoring form, and we'll long be hoping he can continue that today. In we go then, 4-2-3-1 for Bayern, who are matching us up. They've still got Vinicius Junior over on the left-hand side, Kimmich's at right-back. Where's Haidara from? He's 31 years of age. He was at Leipzig at the start of the game, has gone to Bayern halfway through this career, and he's still there now. But aside from that, they've got a sea of world-class regens. They've got a real goalkeeper as well. I know that name too. It's Schalke, I thought so. But yeah, a brilliant side for Bayern Munich, and this is going to be very difficult. We're starting to realise why they're winning the league every year, bar the one that we managed to nick. So let's go and ask the lads to prove a point, just as the assistant recommends. We're expecting a good contest. We don't think we're going to get outplayed by any means. And a bit like the Schalke game, we're going to drop to a balanced mentality. Just try and shore things up early on. It's almost the same as our Dorking tactic here, but the wingers playing a bit more like they were at Burnley. I guess we've got a good chance here. And it's 0-0 with 15 gone, and Bayern certainly haven't dominated so far, and we're yet to even see an attacking highlight from the visitors. Corner kick into the box from Borussia Monchengladbach, headed away as far as a Beng and back out to Amiri. The man coming in at the number 10 role puts it in and Kimmich gets it away. Here's Legrand over on the right for Bayern, starting the counter. He's got two swarming around him, but none of them win the challenge and Vidal manages to get through. Silva switches it, but Pereira intercepts and Kawakita composed at the back, just making sure they play it out. Here's the Icelandic midfielder back to Kawakita. And we're playing it out comfortably, but I'm still a little bit worried that we might get caught out. Here's Pereira. He's still in with those back three and eventually finds its way all the way to the keeper. Stark gets it out though. Good ball to the right to a Beng. The world-class wonder kid through ball to Seekins. Had a great chance here. Good save Nubel, but he was offside anyway. But he nearly broke the offside trap, and again we've seen just how crucial those two are. They don't need much really, just one little pocket of space and they can create something from absolutely nothing. But 5 minutes to half time, it's been an awful half of football, but a 0-0 draw against Bayern, we would be very happy with that result. Here's Jelly to Stark, and again we're starting to look like we're on the front foot, but of course there's always the risk with Bayern's high press that we could get beat in possession. But Fernandes has found the overlapping fullback. Jelly with a chance, that's got to be a foul, but is it in the box? We're going to VAR for this one, and then we've got to worry about whether Stark can score the penalty. That's going to be a problem for a moment. Are we going to be giving it? I've got to be honest, it looked just outside. You can see me there just trying to creep over as close as possible to the TV screen. And what is going to be given? Here he comes any second now. It is penalty or free kick. It is a free kick. We haven't got to worry about the penalty, but can we still create a chance from it? On the left-hand side of the line, it's Amiri taking the ball in. Good to the back post, headed away. And Legrand finds Silva, and suddenly Bayern could have a counter. After all of this, if we conceded from our own free kick, it would be devastating. Silva on the left byline. Good challenge, Pereira. Goes out for a throw into the visitors. Half-time reached then. It's been a pretty even game. If anything, we've slightly edged the chances there. We haven't committed a foul yet. Bayern have committed plenty, but that's normally the story the way we play. It's a 0-0 draw so far though, and at the end of this game, I'd definitely take that. So we're just going to say prove a point again. Rui Pedro Silva. We're starting to build that trust in him. We're starting to believe what he says. And into the second half we go. Can we nick a famous win against Bayern? Goal kick for Maximiano, just over an hour gone, and we're getting a warning about Kennedy Abeng's performance. But hang on, the Icelandics put Seekins in. Oh, we're ahead just like that. It's a Route 1 move, goalkeeper to midfielder. A flick on from Abeng, who got the good header in, and that's improved his rating as well. And Wilhelmsson, despite being tired, found a delicious through ball. He's a great passer and it worked a treat. And Seekins so clinical yet again. Hernandez heads away to Silva though, as Bayern look to bite back straight away. Over halfway on the counter, it's 3-on-1, but he looks like he's got the quality. He beats one, gets the shot in, Maximiano saves, and Pedro Pereira has to clear it away off the byline. It was looking very desperate there for a moment. So we've got 20 minutes left. Abeng is looking nervous. I might have to take him off. We have got options on the bench. Alvarado's one of them, and Fernandez is natural on the right anyway, so he'll be a winger on attack, and on the left-hand side, we'll do the same with Alvarado. And in fact, we'll just have two wingers out there. Let's see how that works. We're going to drop the fullbacks, I think, to defensive duties because they're really struggling when Bayern are on the counter. So let's do that, get back into it, and we'll make more changes in 5 or 10 minutes. 15 to go. We've got a corner kick. It's Amiri into the box, headed away, and this is where Bayern are so lethal. So long ball forward. What's the keeper doing? Oh, you've got to be joking there. He just stood still on the edge of the box. Have you ever seen anything like it? It's almost like a glitch. Let's go back and have a look at that again. The ball came forward. Look at this. Firstly, the two centre-halves have just stopped, or the defenders. And the keeper just stood there. He could have walked out and pumped it clear. That is absolutely incredible. What a way to throw away 75 minutes of hard work. We'll go and make a change. We'll take off Jimenez. He's going to be replaced by Liunan. And he'll become a box-to-box midfielder, which is his preferred role. I don't know what to say about that. Of course it's Maximiano's fault. Of course his rating's gone down. But you just don't understand how it's happened. He just stood still. He had 30 yards head start. He could have got there very easily. We could ideally do with taking Wilhelmsson off, who's knackered. And I probably should have looked at that for the last sub. But as it stands, what we're going to do is Amiri into central midfield. He wants to be a box-to-box as well. Neither of these lads really are made to be playmakers. Are either of them good passers of the ball? So in terms of passing, Liunan's probably better. So he's going to become the deep line playmaker, Amiri box to box, and Wilhelmsson is going to be replaced in the number 10 role, and he'll be replaced by Radan, the summer signing. Not perfectly natural in the number 10, but I'm sure he can do a job for 5 minutes as we try and see out this point after a ridiculous goal we've conceded. Nubel with the goal kick though. Bayern one more chance to get forward. Fofana, the centre half, switches it to the right. Here's Legrand, and will the tired legs show as it goes into Tapiero? Out to the right hand side, Altair's taking on the fullback. Jelly holds him up, but he goes back to Tapiero, and now back out to Altair again. Into the box, Pereira heads away well, but it's only out to Bream on the left hand side. Tries to get it in, Amiri heads away, and now Radan's got a chance to counter. 2-on-2, Seekins is held up, but Radan's going alone into the box. Could have made himself a Gladbach hero immediately there, but he drags his shot wide, and with 4 minutes of stoppage time up, it comes to an end as a 1-1 draw. A brilliant goal from Seekins, a Route 1 style. The three key players, Wilhelmsson, Abeng and Seekins, the three men involved in the goal. And in the most ridiculous concession of an equaliser. Let me know in the comments if you've seen anything like that in your save. I don't mean at National League North and South level. You expect silly things like that. At this elite level, have you ever seen that before in FM? There are going to be odd instances, but what a time for it to happen, of course. A 1-1 draw though. Overall, we're delighted with a point. It's horrible the manner it's happened, but a fantastic result which keeps us level on points at the top of the Bundesliga. Bayern Munich will inevitably be champions this year. They look a very good side still, but we are going to compete for the top 6, and I'm sure we will make it into Europe. So there we go then, confirmation that we stay on 20 points as well as Bayern Munich, 2 clear of Dortmund, 4 of Leipzig, and it will crucially depend on Hamburg's game whether we're going to get a little bit of a gap to those Champions League places. If we can secure the top 4, we'd be settled this season. But let's have a quick look at what the media said. Gladbach hold on to draw. I mean, we had more shots, near enough the same possession. That seems very harsh. Ed Seekins stays top scorer in the league, 8 in 8. The director of football has found an absolute gem there. It's just what we do when he leaves at the end of the season. How many years has he got on his City contract? Only 2 after, so it's possible they could go to try and sign him. And considering all we're giving is 16 grand a week for him in wages, that is an incredible signing at the top level. But into a tough spell of fixtures in the Bundesliga we go. We've probably got a couple more. You've got Hamburg at home in 5th. And then in December, it's Wolfsburg, it's Borussia Dortmund, Bayer Leverkusen, Leipzig and Hoffenheim, 5 games in a row. That is going to be an awful spell for us. So let's have a look at where we're next going to come back. It looks like Dortmund's in 7 games, so I think we're going to do that again. It's the penultimate game before the winter break, and in fact we'll make it a double header. We'll do Borussia Dortmund and Bayer Leverkusen, the side who we managed in our Christmas challenge this year. Didn't quite go to plan in that one. But that will be a good double header for us to show on the channel. So Dortmund and Bayer Leverkusen up next. If you're looking forward to that and you did enjoy this one, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments what you think of our style of play, the way we're going along, still looking very defensively solid. And what on earth happened with our keeper there? Have you seen one like that? Let me know about the most inopportune moments that's happened to you. Have you had a keeper do that in a cup final? Have you had one do it in a promotion playoff? What have you had the worst circumstance the keeper's done it in? Or even if it's a defender or midfielder doing something similar, or the worst sitter in the world that's been missed. Let me know if you've got one, and will it top that game against Bayern Munich to throw away 2 points? If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel down below and make sure you turn that notification bell on as well. You'll get alerts and updates as content releases on the channel or whenever we go live for a stream as well. Thank you again to everyone who checked out the first one this morning. We were continuing with our Burnley head coach side, but we've turned it to a youth academy challenge, trying to produce a homegrown 11 that can go and compete for major trophies. So if you did miss it, there's a full stream replay in the eye above, and thank you again for your incredible support. That will continue every Tuesday at 10 AM. So please do pop along if you've got the chance any weeks. This one will be back on Thursday with a big double header against Dortmund and Bayer Leverkusen. And tomorrow, in the meantime, we continue our Premier League season with Dorking Wanderers. It's been a very interesting one. We had our first ever meltdown, a frustrating transfer window, a massive defeat and a new stadium so far. And now we're coming into the January transfer window, where I'm sure there'll be plenty more action as well. In addition, my stadium review series continues every Sunday. Next week we'll be focusing on Crewe Alexandra, following our toughest episode yet, trying to remember a 10-year-old visit to Crawley Town. And then the Cricket 19 career continues tomorrow at 1 o'clock, with 2 episodes every week on Wednesday and Saturday. Finally, I'm part of a podcast that does matchday vlogs and interviews. You can see the link to the channel in the eye above. It's gone absolutely mad in the last couple of weeks, so thank you for everyone who's popped over and checked it out. If you haven't already, please do give it a try. We've got interviews with current and former pros, vlogs from live matches earlier in the year when we were still able to attend, and some topical podcasts as well, which have done really well, particularly relating to my beloved Luton Town. But a massive thank you for watching this one and your continued support with the series, the season, and the new club in this head coach series, and I hope to see you again on Thursday with Gladbach as we play 2 of the Bundesliga's heavy hitters.